Welcome to the Michigan Short-Term Rentals Podcast. My name is Tony Stancato here with my co-host Jordan Painter. What's up, man?
Good morning.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, man. It's a new day. It's a new year, and school has started. So got my oldest out as a senior for her first day of high school, which is pretty wild.
That's crazy. That's exciting. So today was first day for all of them, or?
At least locally here. There's a couple of schools that started last week. Most of them start this week or next week. So it's early start this year.
Yeah, I thought they always waited till after Labor Day, but I mean, unfortunately,
when we were kids, it made sense. That's what they did when we were kids. Now nothing makes sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say in the vacation rental world, it's always better if they start after Labor Day. You know, get a few last minute weekday bookings, last minute trips, but you can really tell when school starts back up, the weekday bookings tend to slow down quite a bit.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You know, Michigan summer is just such a beautiful time to be outside. So it's a bummer to cut it short I feel like it's short by 2 weeks at this point.
Yeah.
So,
awesome. Well, today we wanted to discuss, we had a great question in the Michigan Vacation Rentals Facebook group. I had actually posted on there looking for the best photographer in the state of Michigan. Got a lot of suggestions there, but there was a question that popped up that I thought was worth discussing, and I'm going to read it here. And it says, my pictures are okay and enough to book up my property all summer long, but it's not uncommon for guests to mention looked even better than the pictures. And I generally take that as a compliment. But this post has me thinking, it's better that they show up and find it better than expected, or do I need to up my game anyway? My concern would be over delivering on the pics. And that is a great question. Obviously, what you don't want to do is take photos of your property and kind of put it in a light that it's really not that great of a property. But I would say it's very important, like good quality photos and really upping your photo game, like mentioned in that question, can add, in my opinion, and from what I've been reading online, at least 10 to 20% to your revenue. So I think I can't remember if I responded on that post or if I text her, but my thought was, what you want to do is pay for the photos, get really amazing photos that show your property in the best light possible. Like, just think about the best marketing that you can possibly do. And then let's say you had another 20%, and let's say on this property you make 50 grand a year on it. By adding another 20%, you make another 10 grand. What can you do with that extra 5 grand that can help you over deliver on this property, right? Whether that's, better guests, welcome baskets. Hey, I mean, for 5 grand, you can really up your welcome basket stuff, or heck, you could even use that 5 grand to add even more amenities, or I think you can use that increase in revenue in a lot of different ways to over deliver. What are your thoughts on that question? And
yeah, I think it's a really interesting question, and it's funny, just coming from a real estate perspective in general. People kind of that are looking to get into the industry. I've had people over the years ask me kind of what I do and what the job is like, and I think there's a lot of overlap with the property management and vacation rental. Is people have this idea that, okay, you are a realtor or you're a vacation property owner, so you're just a property manager basically, and they try to narrow down the focus of what the job is to this one thing, when in reality, when you own a business like this, you are the bookkeeper, you're the housekeeper, you're the marketer, you're the CEO, you're doing all of the different guest communication. You wear so many hats, and I think the marketing hat is, I can't think of a more important hat to wear than the marketing hat. You've got to get people in the door, and you do that through the photos and all that stuff. And Tony made an interesting comment when we were getting started talking about this pod. He's like, can you imagine somebody sitting at Nike in the marketing department and being like, yeah, maybe we don't want to make it look that cool to have these shoes. I mean, heaven forbid some short white guy like Jordan buys a pair of Nikes and thinks he can slam dunk all of a sudden or something. You know, they're really overhyping the product to a certain extent. So, you know, I love the heart behind the question of you don't want to false advertise. You don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. But I would say when it comes to the marketing and the photos and all that kind of stuff, you know, you want to put your best foot forward. You want to show the amenities as well as you can. You want it to look amazing. You want it to be magazine-like. And then when they get there, you know, you need to make sure that you deliver. I mean, you're basically making a promise. When you're marketing and advertising, you're making a promise to this person of the experience that you're going to offer them. And so, you know, if you have everything set up just right and the pillows just right and the blankets just right and everything is set up in the pictures, it just needs to look like that when they get there. So, you know, you just have to make sure that you're delivering on the promises of the marketing. And if you're not, that's a problem. So I definitely can see both sides of it, but you just have to make sure you deliver.
And the other thing I would say on this, I keep saying, hey, Southwest Michigan seems to be, call it 5 to 10 years behind areas like Gatlinburg or Orlando, where the game is like the bar is set so high, right? Well, it's coming to Southwest Michigan, right? People are, as more people enter the market and more people are like, hey, you know, maybe they lost a little bit in bookings from the year before. They're going to go back to the drawing board and they're going to say, hey, how can I up my game, right? That's essentially the name of the game, is how can I constantly be upping my game to separate myself from the rest of the competition. And if you're not updating your photos and if you're not trying to, you know, put your best foot forward and have the absolute best photography that you can, somebody else will, and somebody's going to look at those and like, oh, hey, this one looks way better than this one, and they're going to book it, and you're gonna end up losing bookings, in my opinion. So just because it's easy to fill up the bookings now, and you know, maybe the marketing across the board in Southwest Michigan isn't, you know, at the level of Gatlinburg, my opinion is that it's coming. So if you rest on that and you're not upping your game there, that it's just a matter of time before you start to lose a little bit of those bookings and maybe not get it as good of revenue as you can. So I would say get while the getting's good. You know, up the game right now, start to be the bar for the rest of the area, and really kind of reap the rewards there.
Yeah, and it's interesting if you really think through just the experience that somebody's going to offer you. Those details matter so much. Like if you put yourself in the consumer shoes, you're looking on, you know, Airbnb or VRBO or one of these platforms. If you're not even marketing the property well, if the pictures aren't professional, what's my expectation when I get to the property? If you're not doing those things well, what else are you not doing well? So I think you just have to focus on every single hat that you're wearing in this business. You have to wear that hat with pride, and you have to make sure that you're doing the best job that you can, you know, to get people excited about the house. We were just talking about this. It's interesting. Before that question came up, we've been tossing around getting some more professional photography taken at our properties. And I think a lot of it just comes from, we have a very professional photographer that we use that takes very nice pictures of houses, but they don't really take an artistic view of the houses. And so I think back to the one picture that you sent that it just had this blanket just, you know, laid out just in this certain way on this couch that just makes you want to it has this look to it where somebody took care to lay that blanket just right on that couch and took a picture of it at a beautiful angle. And it looks super appealing. And those are those eye-catching things that those details do matter. And again, when the guest gets there, that blanket better not be like wadded up on the bottom of the couch. You have to make sure that when you're turning it over, that's the experience that they get when they walk in the door, the same as the pictures. So those little things, I think, can make a huge difference in people's desire to experience your property.
Yeah, absolutely. And the question about the photographer in the Facebook group came up because over the last 2 weeks, the first one, the Carwells, actually mentioned they use the photographer that we use, but then they also bring an additional photographer, and they're more like architecture photography and stuff. So when you look at the pictures that they take, it's just really stunning. They catch it in the right light, and just the right angle. The lady sounds like she spends like 4 to 6 hours in the property and like sits with the property and just gets a really good feel for it. So she can take some really good photos. So she's all the way up in Traverse City, and I think we'll probably end up bringing her down for some properties. But I also wanted to see if there was anybody else that was mentioned in that. But then when I went to the boot camp for Bill Faith, he said spend as much as you possibly can on photos. So that's kind of where the question came from. But I did think it was a great question. That's why we wanted to bring it up here. And I do think, it is an interesting question. And I do think there is something for over delivering. But I think you got to have the best marketing in your listing, get the highest rate that you possibly can for your property. And then you have to find, it's not either or. It's not like have the pictures sell, this amazing experience and then not deliver on it. It's like you have to sell it and then you have to deliver. And the lady that answered or asked that question, I told her, I said, yeah, no problem over delivering. She shares videos of her going through her property. She shared one just the other day, and it was like she's going through all the plates, making sure even all the ones that were put away, are pristine. And she takes a lot of care in making sure that she over delivers on the property. But again, I think you could take that additional revenue and find some additional ways to over deliver as well.
Agreed.
Awesome. Till next time.